Caroline, how does it feel? You're finally here as a full WBC World Champion.
Feels amazing. My first title defence, and it's only up from here.
And the fight you're going in with, Jessica Camara, lots of experience. She knows how to fight on the road. How much do you know about her, first of all?
I knew about Jessica Camara for a while now. Coming through as a professional, I think it's a good idea to see who's the oppositions out there. So Jessica Camara's name has always been someone that I saw. But I haven't watched too much tape. I think I watched one fight and that was it. I think for me, it's always to be the best me. The best me beats everyone, and I have to believe that. I do believe that. So it doesn't really matter what Jessica does. It matters what Daniel Dubois does, and I know what I do well. So that's what I intend.
And going into this fight, you're coming off some decision wins after a big streak of knockouts early in your career. Is the power coming back in Sheffield on Saturday?
We'll have to see. Women's boxing is different from the men. We fight 2-minute rounds, they fight 3-minute rounds. We fight 10 rounds, they fight 12. And maybe from the outside looking in, that's not a big cut, but it is. When you're in there, trust me, you feel it. And I think that's been the thing that's maybe preventing me from finishing these girls, is the fact that we have a short round. But, there is no rush. I'm going to continue doing what I do. And I always say, I think the way to get a knockout is to just go out there and fight hard. Don't necessarily focus too much on getting knockouts or whatever. Just go out there and fight hard. And if you do that, then it's up to the person. How good is their chin? How good is their desire? How much heart do they have? And that's not up to me. That's up to them.
And you touched upon it there with the 2-minute rounds or the 3-minute rounds. I've spoke to a lot of female fighters and they seem to be split on which they would prefer to fight. Obviously, Serrano has campaigned for the 3 minutes. Where do you stand on that? What would you prefer to fight?
What would I prefer? I would prefer... It's weird because I've ever since I turned pro from an amateur, as an amateur I fought 3-minute rounds and I found no problem, like none at all. Turning pro, all I've sparred is 2-minute rounds, so I've kind of gotten used to it. But if someone was to turn around and say, Caroline, your next fight has to be a 3-minute round, I would prepare, I would train, I would spar 3-minute rounds, and it wouldn't be a problem. So in my opinion, I don't really have a preference or a dislike. It's just about what you prepare. Like, if you're going out for a run and someone says you got a 5K, you just get ready for it. And if someone says you got a 1K, a fast 1K, then you prepare for that. And I think it's the same thing. It's what you prepare for. And I have no preferences. If someone turned around and said 3-minute rounds, women boxing, I would do it, no problem.
And I interviewed you 2 years ago, and it's amazing. You actually basically told me that this is where you were going to end up in this time period. How have you managed to follow your plan so perfectly?
I think it's just the training ethic, the work ethic that I put in the gym, and the fact that I'm a talented fighter. I know how quickly women's boxing moves, and if you're talented, if you're good enough, you're good enough, and they move you quickly. So I always saw myself as being able to be a world champion. That was like the minimum thing that I could achieve, being a world champion. So hitting this is just the start. It's the first tick of a long list.
Well, that's exactly what I wanted to ask you. What's the next part of the plan? Where do you go from here?
I would love to be undisputed world champion by the end of this year. That's the game. That's the goal for me, and I want to make it happen. We'll see if it happens. Obviously, there's a lot of politics in boxing, and sometimes what you want, it just doesn't happen. So, but I think if I could say this is what I would want, it would be that, undisputed.
And obviously this title's come into your possession because Katie Taylor vacated. That's a fight you've made no secret about wanting. Do you think she wants it at some point, or do you think she's trying to avoid you?
I don't know if it's as much as avoidance as... I guess it depends. She's fought for a very long time. She's at a different point in her career now. She got $6 million for her last fight with Amanda Serrano. And she's probably thinking, why not do it again for a trilogy? Another $6 million. Or fight Daniel Dubois. You're not going to get the same money. So I guess it's more of a financial decisions right now. I don't think it's her running away. I just think her mind's in a different place, like in terms of what she wants to do. And for the last few fights that she has, I'm sure they have to be meaningful fights for her.
And obviously you're the WBC champion, your brother's the IBF heavyweight champion. Do the Dubois run boxing now?
Not yet.
Not yet. I did actually, it comes on nicely to what I wanted to ask. We've been getting predictions from everyone, but I feel like this prediction will be a little bit different for you. We've been asking everyone how your brother will get on against Joseph Parker. I just wondered, Obviously, I think I know who you're going to say is going to win, but how do you think that fight goes for Daniel?
Yeah, I think it's a good fight. Joseph has shown a lot of improvements in his last few fights. Deontay Wilder fight, he looked really good, and Zhang, he showed heart, grit, determination, and the will to win, and he was able to dub out that win. But I think Daniel's a different kettle of fish compared to Zhang. Zhang has got the power, but he lacks athleticism. He lacks, that supreme athlete ability, and I think Daniel's got that. Where Zhang lacks, Daniel has in abundance, and he matches Zhang for power. And I think Zhang was able to hurt Joe Joyce early, but he fatigued later on and just gassed out. Daniel doesn't have that. He's gonna keep going. He's gonna keep coming at you, and I don't see how Joe is gonna take it every single round, 12 rounds. I don't see it.
This is going to be a massive year for women's boxing. Boxer leading the way. What do you think of that big Albert Hall card? Tasha Jonas against Lauren Price. Going to be some huge names on the undercard as well. What do you make of that big show?
Yeah, I'd love to be on that show. It's a massive show, as you said. And I want a slot on that. I want a good slot as well. And so I have to perform Saturday and cement myself and put myself on that show.
And what's your prediction for Saturday? How does the fight with Camara go?
A win for sure. I'll be happy with the knockout.